Yo, what's good everyone? It's Marvin, also known as MJO23Dan. Today's video I'm going to be doing a review and comparison of the 2020 Air Jordan 4 Fire Red alongside the 2006 Air Jordan 4 Mars Blackman. So if you guys are into this, let's get to it. Alright, so first and foremost, I want to give a big shout out to Edgar on Twitter. He goes by the handle of emelger66 and on Instagram rd2366. Shout out to you, homie. I was unable to cop this on the shock drop that Sneakers had on October 27, 2020. He was able to hit, wasn't, I guess, feeling the shoe, and just did an impulse purchase and offered it to me. And you know, I am fortunate for those types of people that want to forward, you know, their impulse, I guess, purchases to me, because then it makes me want to do an impulse purchase. But the Fire Red 4 is a shoe that I've wanted, and this is the first time that the shoe returns with Nike Air on the back. So hasn't been since 1989 that they had released the shoe with Nike Air on the back, and I'll get into that in a second. But to go over the box, you guys know the thing. Jumpman up top with the flight on the lid. Details of the label. They were retailed for $200, and they do have it in white, fire red, black, and tech gray. So tech gray, I remember with the 2012 versions of the Air Jordan 4s, it was a darker gray. With these, I don't see a dark gray at all. So I do have versions of a 2012 Air Jordan, but you know, for this purpose alone, I don't have the fire red, but I do have the 2006. So I also don't have an OG, and it's really hard to do these comparisons if you don't have all, you know, what's involved. So you want to be able to know what the evolution is from the OG up until this point. But I do have an OG4 in a replacement box. And you guys might remember this one. This is the black cement Air Jordan 4. I've encased it in plastic. If you guys want to know why, it's because the midsole is disintegrating. And I've went over this process in a previous video on how to save your midsoles. I know this isn't always the ideal case, and you know, it's hard to enjoy the shoe, but you know, with the midsole crumbling, I don't want to swap it just yet. I want to be able to preserve the original look, just in case for future videos, if I want to be able to, you know, compare the midsole with pairs of shoes, I have this at my disposal. So with that said, let's go ahead and get under here and do the review for you guys in comparison. Alright guys, so once again, shout out to Edgar for actually offering up his pair of Air Jordan 4 Fire Reds for retail, which was $200. Shock drop again was October 27, 2020. The release date for these will be November 28, 2020. On the inside of the box, you get the cement print, and then heading on into the shoes. So I think Jordan Brand did a exceptional job with this. So initial thoughts right out the box is the leathers. So you know, over the years I've done these comparisons, and you know, there's always something different from the preceding Air Jordan. So with this one here, you have one panel that goes from the midfoot all the way around to the toe to the other part of the shoe. Then you have this second layer all the way around, and these two types of leathers
they're both the same. But when you come up here towards the eye stays, the collar, and the tongue, they're synthetic leather. So not sure why Jordan Brand would change the look between the two. Probably, from an aesthetic look to it, or just saving dollars on its own. As you guys remember, have I talked about in the Air Jordan 5 review, I talked about Durabuck. So originally this Air Jordan in its original state from 1989 was Durabuck. So there was another version that came out, and it was the black cement, and I apologize again with all the brightness of the lights and everything. You can't really see too much of it, but you guys will notice how this nubuck type Durabuck was chipping on the shoe, and it was not a good look. So I don't think Jordan Brand would have wanted to replicate this in 2020. The return also of the Nike Air back tab I thought was an awesome piece. Again, we haven't gotten Nike Air back since the OG, and I just feel like the Nike Air just fills up the back tab beautifully. And if you guys want to check out how it looks with the 2006 Mars 4, you guys can see the Jumpman on its own. I just feel like Nike Air is the clear winner here. This is a classic colorway, and in 2006 they were looking at changing up the look of our classic models. Now in 2020 they want to keep it classic, and I don't have any problems with that whatsoever, because I feel like this new generation and us older heads, we really appreciate the classics, the nostalgia. A lot of people, for the most part, growing up in 1989, this was probably their first shoe. And having it back here in your hands and be able to see that Nike Air on the back, oh, man. Because, previous editions, we've always had the Jumpman. And I apologize again, I don't have the previous to this, but I do have the Mars 4, which, I've pretty much decided I wanted to keep and not go after the next version after this, because I did have this. So with the 2006 Mars 4, you do see that it's a darker red compared to the 2020, and the addition of the Jumpman back tab and the Mars Blackman headshot right there at the back heel. Now remember, in 2006 people were very upset about this image right there. All kudos to Mars, and he was one of the proponents to having one of the greatest marketing campaigns and commercials with Michael Jordan at the time, back in the late 80s and early 90s. But, I understand the tribute that Jordan Brand wanted to do with Mars Blackman and Spike Lee, and so they put him on the Air Jordan 4. Unfortunately, it was a classic colorway, and, in 2020, we get it back. So coming up into the shoe again, the netting. It's more to the OG feel, OG look. They've pulled the netting away from the black panel of the mesh underneath, and that's how it's supposed to be. So you can see with the OG, it's like that. It's a lot more bubbly too, as opposed to the 2006. You guys can see that they've made it squarish, and they've glued it pretty much as a part of the black mesh. Now you also know that the wings portion right here, these lines of the netting go up and down, whereas the wing, it goes at a diagonal slant. On the OG, you see that it used to be that the netting went with the diagonal of the wing there, and it was also a thicker wing at the time and a thicker back tab. In the 2006, slightly rigid, and this was a little bit more flimsy. In 2020, you get a mixture between the two. Softer back tab, a little bit more of a rigid wing, but you also get the look along with the netting, that level of equalization right there. So I appreciate Jordan Brand was paying attention to that detail. I love how the netting is pulled away from the mesh. It just makes it, look better. It feels better. Actually, with fit, I found this pretty interesting. So previous Air Jordan 4s to this, I've always had to go a half size up for some reason. Now, I think they changed the last in the Air Jordan 4. Even with the Union collab, I felt like those fit better, and my true size is a size 10. With the previous colorways, like even the Black Cat 4 and the Black Cement 4, I've had those pairs in size 10, and they were hitting my pinky toe. They were scrunching this guy up. So I've had to go a half size up. Now, I'm not sure if it has to do with the insole as well, if it plays a factor, but these guys come in a polyurethane style insole here. Let me pull it out. And you guys can see, you know, the feel, the look. The previous ones, they're ortholite insoles. So I felt like, you know, with this version, they actually made it a little bit wider here on the toe. So I'm able to fit a true size 10. So if you guys are going after your pair, you know, consider going true to size. Going back here with the insole, you can see here they put the sticker on there, and then red Nike Air branding right there at the heel. Now with the Nike Air, I feel like this is going to fade away. They do this heat press style, whereas with like the, you know, older versions here, you guys can see, like, you know, this stuff's not going to fade away. That's like really in there with the insole. So that's probably, you know, a thing that I dislike about insoles, that it's, you know, been inconsistent as well. And I understand, you know, business, they have to go cheap somewhere. So if it's with the insole, if it's with the type of leather that they use between the two, you know, you gotta, you know, cut corners somewhere, I guess, you know what I mean? But, you know, the 2020 version of the Air Jordan 4, I thought, you know, pretty decent. Again, they kept the Air Jordan flipped upside down behind the tongue. It's the same thing with the Mars 4, as well as with the OG, which you really can't see in there because of the plastic. And again, I apologize, but nonetheless, as for the tongue, you guys can see the flight just below the Jumpman, and they digitized this Jumpman, and it looks better. You know, over the years, it's always been like either it has a butt crack or it's got like dots in it, but yeah, that's the look of the Jumpman nowadays, and I like it. I think it's improved every single year. But the Flight logo, you can see there that it still has that, you know, cartoonish character look. You know, pretty much the same on the Mars 4. But on the OG, it looks like it's written there in pencil or pen. Really thin line. So I would like to see them actually get back to that with the Flight logo underneath. Now, if you guys want a comparison of the back tab here from the OG to the 2020, it's slightly skinnier on the 2020. Again, it's like a softer plastic. This is more of a rigid look, and I don't know about you guys, but if you guys are wearing Air Jordan 4s with short socks, I don't know how your guys' Achilles are holding up, but I would definitely try and get it to where you're wearing longer socks or at least pants, man. But man, that I remember this back tab just eating away at your Achilles every time you like took a step. So they've you know, made it a little softer, but I would still wear, you know, socks that don't have this eat up into your Achilles. But you can see that the Nike Air, you know, it's a lot more filled out on the OG. Still slightly off center. And I've gone over this in a previous video as well, as, you know, the off center of the Nike. It still fills out the back really nicely, but you guys can see even the Air, it hits more of the point down below of the leather panel. This one, it's a little bit spaced up some more. So, I don't know. What is your guys' preference?
Alright guys, so that is it. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you guys got something out of that. I really enjoy your guys' interaction with my videos. Sharing the videos, hitting the thumbs up on the videos. It goes a long way. And, you know, if you guys aren't subscribed and you're brand new, you know, consider subscribing. You can also follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook if you guys want to know what's going on with the current state of things with MJO23Dan and everything else. So I don't know what the next video will be. You know, I pretty much just do these on a whim, however I feel. So but yeah, overall thoughts on the 2020 Air Jordan 4, You like it? You don't? That's about it. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you next time. Take care.